have when I was last leaving Dublin, going through the airport, I got one of the Guinness fudge tins full
Oh,
of.
nice.
So I keep all my random like connectors in it. Can you see it there?
That's handy.
Yeah,
Jerry has a Pokemon tin that he keeps his stuff
Yeah,
in.
you
yeah.
can't do a good 10 like for just bits and bobs.
It's really cute. It's really adorable. He brings it to rehearsal.
Bring it to every gig. You always see it in the background on top of the bass amp. Saved our lives a few times already, so
Yeah,
the
it's
lads are
true.
laughing, but like when someone needs a patch cable, it's me who comes to the rescue with the
Yeah,
fucking
that's
Pokemon
me.
tin.
Today on the London Ear, I am delighted to be joined by Scattered Ashes. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Bye.
So introduce yourselves and tell me what part of the world you're in today.
I'm Rob. I sing and play guitar. I am currently in lovely Windsor.
Hello, Rob. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello.
I'm Jerry. I play bass and sing a little as well, and Rob will let me. And I'm in London.
Hello.
Uh, my name is Killian. I'm Jerry's older brother, and I play drums, and I'm currently in Blanchardstown, but I live in London.
So, are you all living in London now, or are you living? Who's living in? One of you is in Windsor. Is that a permanent thing, or are you UK based? Shall we say right now?
Yeah, we made the move over from Dublin really in January around then. As a band, we made the move. So I'm currently in Windsor. Killian and Jerry, the two brothers, are in London, and Ben, who's not with us today, he plays guitar. He is in Hove, just out in Brighton. So yeah,
Uh,
we all made the move kind of together.
that's it. You have a nice little balance there because you guys can do the whole thing Monday to Friday and then head to the seaside at the weekend. So that's all good.
We're literally talking
Yeah.
about doing that this weekend. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you get the nice early whatever ticket is, it's only a tenner down to Brighton on the train or something. It's crazy. It's the cheapest train tickets in the UK. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the UK's trains, even though they always seem to come up when there's trains passing my window here. You guys have finally got round to announcing that you're releasing an EP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time coming, I think. So we had it like early on in the band's career. We did have an EP out, but it was two tracks and a remix. So I think for a lot, like for most of us, this really feels like a proper debut, you know. There's five tracks, so yeah, it's about time.
I have noticed as well that you've just released Kingdom, and I made it. My Nessy recommends, was it last week or the week before on the
Thank you. Yeah, I saw that.
there's there's like a step up in the, I don't know, in the thinking, whether it's in the thinking in the production or how the melodies and the guitar lines counterbalance each other or something like that. Is that a like a distinctive, is that something that you've like put a lot of thought into?
Um, so like for that track, I mean, it's definitely a step up in terms of like the production and stuff. It's the same producer who we've worked at most of the time, Daniel Doherty in Darklands. But I think all the lads would agree, like he's the the beauty of working with the same producer over a prolonged period in time. They kind of get a better feel for you each time. So I think Dan really stepped up in terms of production, but also us. I mean, we were before we went in to record this, we really locked ourselves away and really worked on these songs. You know, there was songs we threw out as well because we just didn't feel like it did us justice to where we were currently as a band. I think with this track, it's you probably noticed like it's built around a sample, like an acoustic guitar sample I had nearly 6, 7 years ago. So I think all of us, when we came to record this, we wanted to kind of approach it more like with a more electronic feel, you know, in the way you kind of layer everything. So like we had that loop, I brought that in, and then Killian kind of the chord pattern stuff was there, but Killian kind of really added this nice breakbeat type, very massive attack, very kind of trip hop influence. And as soon as like I remember hearing that beat in the studio when we were recording it, and I was just like, that's it. You could kind of see for the first time, particularly that track, um, you could see it coming together. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a step up in terms of songwriting as well for the whole EP. We're always trying to like we're an abrasive or dark band, so to speak, when people describe us, but we're so conscious of like melody and hooks and everything. When we write music, every song, that's a real, it's a real a testament to our growth in songwriting, but also to the acts that we kind of love. All those acts, whether they're dark or whatever, they all have a great sense of melody, whether it's The Cure or anyone else. It's like those songs can still penetrate no matter what form they take. So I think that, we take that on board.
And I think as well with what people consider a dark song, a lot of the time the vocals in it can be quite like your vocals are melodic as well, but your vocal range within that, a lot of the time that if you listen to some acts, it's like they suppress their range, but during parts of this, you let go, like you go for it.
That's really nice to hear. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like if you listen to it's like there's other songs where the vocals are more like morose or kind of deep, but I think it's again, it's like the second verse in particular, I think in that song, I really kind of push it and stuff. So I mean, again, that kind of it lends itself to what I was saying. Like if you treat your vocal line as an instrument as well, there's really interesting stuff you can kind of do with it. Not everything has to be in the vein of like a post-punk type vocal, whatever that is. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, like and like on this track as well, like Jerry comes in very lightly, but on certain parts he really emphasizes the kind of lines I'm doing, and that's something that we're particularly Jerry and me are doing a lot now as well,
Yeah,
because
it's
Jerry's a
something that
higher
we've really
range.
been working on, like, and we've gotten really good feedback from it as well live, like in
Yeah.
particular. We definitely have a nice kind of blend between the two of our voices, so we're kind of trying to figure out how to get that onto as many tracks as we can. So especially that second verse of Kingdom, I think it really like elevates it, just and separates it from the first, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like the longer the band is going, the more the band has progressed. I've really looked at like there's so much you can do with vocals and in terms of honing your voice and your sense of sound. Like, I once heard like someone describe like, like good vocals, it's like a saxophone. It's like no matter what your voice sounds like, whatever, it's just about the range it's in. Like whatever way your voice the range it's in, you can use it like in really creative and beautiful ways. It's just about kind of finessing that. So that's something I think I'm very conscious of, and yeah, just trying to push it as well, take other influences from like pop as well and other kind of genres. So
Because genres right now, like you can look at let's say American radio, American charts is still very genre driven. And you only listen to one type of music or whatever, but that's not what life is about. People listen to different types of music, and it all seeps into different influences and stuff like that. But when you are putting all this effort into the music and everything that's going behind that, did this kind of spark the move to London and the move to like getting to a bigger place or getting to a place where there's more venues to play, or what would spark that move?
I mean, I think all of us will probably have our own kind of version of this, but as a band, I think like any Irish alternative band, we're not the first and we won't be the last to kind of emigrate to go over to London in particular. Um, we kind of always had an audience here, and it was always kind of growing, and we're conscious of that. And even from the early days, it was always important for us to kind of get over to London and gig. And then, the more times we were over, we just kind of realized there's a lot more cities to play. Obviously, the tour, each one's a bigger country, more people, and I think there's a real hunger here for like alternative music and guitar music in general. So yeah, I think that was the reason why, and also so close to home. And the other thing is, like, to be quite frank, you know, everyone at home is feeling the pinch at the minute. We're like all in our, well, 30s, 20s, and all living at home, this kind of thing, where it was just like, it just felt like the right time to, move. There's opportunities over here as well, but I'm sure the lads will have their own take on it as well.
I mean, like for me, like I lived in London for a long time. I left in 2017 and came back, and I took a little break from music, but I always, for me, since I was like 15 or 16, I was like, I can't wait to do my leaving cert and get the hell out of Ireland. So like, that's it was always on the cards for me. And when I met Rob and Ben a couple of years ago, they felt the same way. And it took a couple of years, but it was always something we were talking about. And just so delighted that we did it. Because like as Rob said, there's so many good places to play around London, but even outside of London, there's so many really cool venues, like grassroots venues that you don't really find in Dublin. There are a few, but like people really care. People come out and they want to see bands live, and they never heard of them. Doesn't matter. Like there's a place to go. Like in Luton, for instance, we had a great gig there on our last tour. We're playing there again, and it was really fun. People are really, really, really hungry for it.
Yeah, don't knock Luton,
No, I was
Yeah, I
gonna
love
say,
Luton.
you said something there, and I actually brought it up with Aoife Scott on last week's radio show. A lot of people who don't live in the UK don't go outside the main cities when they're touring, or they don't go outside the main towns. And like, if you really want to build up a following, a lot of the time it's gone beyond or gone away from the whole social media thing. Right? You can have 1 million followers and you can have like whatever amount of streams, but unless you can get out there and play to these people and sell them your merch and sell them your CD or your vinyl and your t-shirts, you're not going to make a living out of it. You have to get out there and play to those people. And it's like, whether it's what you call a future yard in Birkenhead or somewhere in Luton, they're the smaller places that are building the new version of what the live industry is in the UK.
Totally. I mean, it's kind of a boomerang effect to like how atomized the whole music industry has become. It's like, I remember in college and like when we were studying music and being told, like, it's a recurring problem, like how bands that might be on big Spotify playlists and stuff like this, millions of views, would come to Dublin or whatever and might get like 5 people at the Grand Social or something. And it's like, it's because it's like those metrics don't really match up to like the fabric of a music scene. Like you're saying, like people want to go out, they want to feel part of the band, but also like every good band that you remember, the ones that last test of time, they all create their own universe. Do you know what I mean? Like fans become really important, whether it's like The Cure or Suede or like, oh wait, it's like people want to like feel like they're part of it, almost like they know the people, but not really. And it's like a really inspiring experience for us was we toured, we did a big UK tour, like a big major tour with Meryl Streep in February. And before we went on that tour, we did a date with him in Ireland on his Irish tour last year. And we saw the kind of, I think all the lads will remember this, like we saw the rapport he had with his fans, like this really kind of like personal kind of touch. And this is Meryl, like Meryl's not getting a big, huge radio play or anything due to the nature of his kind of music and stuff. And the fan base was so like passionate, and he was doing quite well as kind of this touring unit. And for us, it was like it was kind of like the curtain was pulled. Like it really kind of inspired us, I think, to kind of make the move. And then he took us on the UK tour, and we got like an even kind of bigger sense of that. Like nearly every show was sold out, and it was just I felt it really had a mark on us, and it showed you that like yeah, you can do this as an independent artist, and you can make like if you put in the work, if you just gig constantly, like Meryl's touring schedule is nuts. Like last
Mm.
year, he was flying. We did a festival with him in Portugal, and he's flying to Derry that night, like after playing to do a Palestinian benefit gig. Like it was just crazy, and you would kind of say to him at times like, "Oh man, this is like this is a lot," but you could tell that it was paying off. Um, so I think for us, like we kind of have that focus now, and when we're seeing it, like we just played a free show in London on the weekend, and it's like it's so nice. Like the amount of love I see coming in messages, people emailing me, and then it's like playing gigs where there's like little promo and like all these kind of new fans are appearing, and you're always kind of pinching yourself. You know what I mean? And we're like still a really small band, but it's like you can see the growth all the time. So, for us, yeah, it just kind of clicked.
So this new EP, the EP is going to be called All That Is Solid Melts into Air.
Yeah.
Is that the title of one of the tracks? Is it a line from one of the tracks?
No, it's yes, the title of the EP. It's the name of it. It's do
Yeah,
you want
where
to go into it?
Elaborate on
We'll
that a
leave
little
that to
bit.
Rob, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a
Ice evaporating or something. It's like solid melt
it's
into
a
air.
it's a title of a book by an American sociologist called Marshall Berman, but he takes it from like it's a Karl Marx quote. Think it's in the Communist Manifesto, and it's basically Marx is actually he's not talking about economic things. He's talking about like art, religion, sense of like community, everything like this. And he talks again. This is like when he was writing Communist Manifesto, but he was predicting the future, and he said that like due to like basically mass commercialization, globalization, everything else, we would like as I said before about the industry, it's like we'd become atomized as a society, and anything that has kind of human value would fall apart. And I'm like, regardless of where you are in the political spectrum, I think everyone would agree, like just with Marx on that point, because you know, he's talking about things that aren't economic, but about how we're so detached today, and how there's no like sense of social cohesion or kind of it ties in with the death of ideology and everything. It's just like how the reason I really like that line that all that is solid is melts. I think the full line is like all that is solid melts into air when I can't remember the rest of the quote, but the reason I liked it was because of that meaning, but also that like how our lives, our personal lives as a band, you know, we're just in flux. I feel a lot over the past year or two, year like really longer than that, and nothing today just seems like stable. You know what I mean? There's
Mm.
no cushion, there's no safety net, um, and I feel like in our that kind of reflected as well in our personal lives. We didn't really know where we were going, or just the way we were living as well in Ireland at the time. So yeah, that felt like a fitting title.
Yeah, the world is in a state of chassis, as Sean O'Casey would say. A complete
Yeah.
state of chassis. Um, so you've mentioned there as well that you're going on tour. When is that tour happening? Is it before,
So
after, around the EP? What's the plan for the summer?
I think we went on a full UK tour with Meryl Streep in February. Um, so that's done, but we have a couple. I think we have a show in Dublin next month, the end of May. Just to be confirmed, but it will be in Whelan's, I think. And then in June, as Killian said, we're playing a show in Luton. Um, doing a show there, and then there's a couple other dates. Might be another one in London in June as well, and there might be a festival or two, but that's still to be confirmed. Really, on the back of the release when it comes out in June. So the EP is out in June the 14th. There will be news about more dates. Still definitely a Dublin headline in autumn, or early winter. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
So what are you guys listening to right now that's not your own music?
I'll let you guys go first there.
We only listen to our own music. No, we
I only listen to
I've been listening to the new Yard Act album a lot, which I absolutely love. Like, just on repeat, I just think it's so different. It's not really kind of what I usually listen to, but I remember my friend showed me like one of the tracks off their first album. It was about some it's the story of like some guy that's the best at playing football in his town. It's just a really long, meandering story. And the second album is like kind of more the same, but yeah, every song just feels so unique on it. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that.
Yeah, I've been listening to lately. The last album I've been listening to on repeat is the new Alkaline Trio album. And Derek Grant is one of my favorite drummers. It's his last recording with them. He's quit the band, but it's a really, really good album for a band that have been around such a long time. I couldn't put it down. So I love it. Still listening to it.
I've been listening to a lot of like the last Murder Capital record. I thought was fantastic. Jerry actually went to see them recently.
Yeah, they've got some new stuff. So
Debut,
looking
some
forward
new
to that.
material. That really blew me away. It's like a real like album experience, you know, not just like kind of punky bangers. It was
Yeah.
really kind of abrasive. Um, there's also this woman I've been listening to recently, Nabiha Iqbal. I don't know if you know her. She's like I think she signed to Ninja Tune.
I have heard of her, yes.
Yeah, it's really good kind of spoken word. Really kind of dreamy, kind of indie, dark kind of pop. Yeah, that was really good. And the other thing as well, Charlie XCX's new singles, that album, I think she's like the most interesting pop star around at the minute. You know, production like AG Cook as well as creative director. I just think it's the perfect match. So looking forward to that.
Excellent. Listen, thank you so much for coming along and joining me today on the show. I always love chatting to you guys because we've never actually physically met, but I always feel like I know you when we start chatting, and I love hearing your thoughts and how you think about stuff and how the world kind of comes into your songwriting and like lines from songs and all that. I love hearing all that stuff. So I really do appreciate that you come along and share it with me. If
It's really
people
nice here.
want to find out more, where is the best place for them to go and check you?
Probably most active on our Instagram, Scattered Ashes Dublin. So you can find us there. We're also on Twitter, Scattered Ashes One, and we're also on TikTok and Facebook. But
Oh, you're on TikTok, are you?
we are Jerry looks
Oh
after
yeah, big time.
Right, hold on till I load up my. I keep telling people I'm a closet TikToker, but I mean, all I ever post is football. So I mean, there you go. Listen, thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll have to catch up soon. If you're all over here now, we're gonna.
Yeah, for sure. Come down
Yeah,
to a
definitely.
gig. We'll put you on a guest list. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
Maybe we'll go down to Brighton some weekend. That'd be a good one.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Visit
Do,
Ben.
do a London ear from the beach.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that before? Listen, lads, thanks, Mo.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thanks.
much, Nessy. Have a good
See you
one.
later. Bye.